So we know it's home, but the big question is what now? What does it mean for the women's game? It should have a significant impact. Have a look at some of these figures. There were just over 87,000 people at Wembley for that final last night. That's the most ever for Euros final for a women's game anywhere in the UK. The number of TV viewers, we said there were millions, it peaked almost at 17.5 million, and apparently that was right at the moment that Chloe Kelly scored that winner deep into extra time. But when you look at the money behind this, each of the Lionesses will get this as a winning bonus, around about £55,000. But remember last summer, if the men had beaten Italy in their final, they would have received over 8 times that amount. Now, we know that men's football has a huge established global reach, but could we be about to see the gap start to close between the men's and the women's game? Well, Peter Lane has been looking at what might all this mean in the long term.
Kick by kick, ball by ball, the mission now turn victory into legacy. At Carverley United Juniors in West Yorkshire, numbers were already on the up. 4 years ago, just 7 girls playing. Now, almost 150. If it's grassroots you want, they're growing here.
Football's quite fun, so it's sad that girls weren't able to play it. Girls didn't have to have that much fun, and they didn't really get to do all.
I'd hope to see England winning more and more girls' teams being made.
And it proved because we won the trophy and the boys haven't won, they've only won one.
Fantastic turn, well done. Nice little...
Clubs like this might be thriving, but the reality is that the amateur women's game needs more coaches and facilities, and many schools still don't offer football for girls in PE lessons. Barriers remain.
It's a long-term legacy. These girls that we've got here today, we want them to grow up and, want to be coaches. We appreciate not all of them might not be a Lioness or become a professional women's football player, but there's other opportunities in sport and football that we want to give them access to.
We want to play in school playgrounds, Saturday clubs, breakfast clubs.
There is a push to open up opportunities, and the women's game is getting more funding, but it's only a start.
Let us play.
The National Association needs to provide more prize money. Clubs probably need to invest in more funding for our younger generations. I think all round the whole game's going to need the investment that has been absent for 50 years.
From player wages to prize money, from sponsorship to tickets sold, there's a lot of catching up needed. Last night did see a 10-fold increase in online searches for games in the upcoming Women's Super League season. If there's a moment to grasp, this is it.
I think what people need to realise is that the win doesn't just affect the team in the moment, it's going to really affect the legacy of women's football over the course of the next decades. What we're likely to see is a huge growth in the followings that these players have on social media, and for every new follower that those players have, that means thousands of views, that means thousands more young women are going to see that and have access to those role models.
Back at Carverley, a new generation of players who've seen what winning looks like. What's at stake now, the choices and opportunities they'll have in the years ahead. Peter Lane, 5 News, West Yorkshire.